So if you've been watching along with us, we've been building this chicken tractor for a few weeks now. It's an all-cedar design. I like the design not only because I don't have to use any pressure-treated lumber, but using the 1x6 cedar decking for my top and bottom rails, it's going to allow me a little bit of flexibility with my wheel system and with my electrification of this chicken tractor. So today what I want to do is I want to start working on the wheel system. I've got a prototype design that I made and let me take and show that to you now. So this is the prototype I've come up with. This is kind of a cam type system, so this will drop our wheels down flat, and just lifting up on this will lift the chicken tractor up enough so we'll be able to wheel it and move it. This way I don't have to worry about the wheels falling off with just a bolt going through, and I think it'll work out nicely. So let me take you upstairs to the workshop and we'll show you how we're doing it. So I prototyped this out of wood first. This is the bolt hole for my axle for my wheels. I tried two different positions for the pivot, but I find that the 1-inch distance worked very well. And then this is for our top pin that actually stops the rotation. So started out with wood, got it down. Then we fabricated it using 3/16 flat stock steel. You can probably do aluminum out of this. I used the steel just for strength. So we've got this one made, so we're going to measure out this one. We got one drilled, and then we'll have both sides. Here are Freedom Ranger chicks. They're up here in the workshop. I'm being very careful not to get any of these metal shavings and drilling near them. And that's what our piece looks like. So 3/8 holes, 1/2 inch hole. So these two 2.5 inch 3/8 bolts, I need to thread these all the way to the bottom. These are for our pivot, and because of the way things need to connect together and the clearances I need, these have to be threaded further. You can sometimes buy these fully threaded. I could not find them. So the next thing I want to do, and I'm going to use this is my mock-up board. This is the bottom of the runner, simulates that. But I want to put a plate that'll cover this hole and just give it some reinforcement. So I'm going to bend this to fit around this board, and then I'm going to drill it with the 3/8 hole for my pivot. But this will just reinforce this board from splitting with any of the extra weight that's on it. Chicken tractor is pretty heavy, so I don't want to take a chance of the board splitting down the road. So we're going to get this bent, fit around here. I'm going to make 2 of these because we're going to need them for the chicken tractor for both sides, and then we'll show you how everything assembles. That's where I'm going to make my first bend. I'm just going to use the corner of my workbench. That looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do, this is how it'll fit, but I'm going to flip this over I'm going to drill this hole out before I bend the second side on, then I can flip it over and drill the second hole out. Put a bolt in there just to hold it. I'll get it bent for the other side. Okay, so now we're going to show you how this assembles. First of all, our plate, this will end up being on the chicken tractor, but it'll end up going over, we drilled out. We take our wheel, these are 7-inch wheels, 1/2-inch hub on there. So I'm going to take a 1/2-inch bolt, the washer, another washer, 1/2-inch nut, and I'm just going to screw that down just to leave a little play. This is our pivot point, so we've got our 3/8 by 2.5-inch bolt, washer, and this will just get tightened down, again, just enough. We want it to be able to pivot in there. And we're going to put a washer. This is going to go on here, 1/2-inch nut. Now, if I was doing this permanently, I'd be using wrenches on both sides to tighten it, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So we've got this section put together. We're going to get that through our hole, our plate. And on the other side, put a washer, a nut. And again, if this was the final assembly, we would be using wrenches on both sides. Then for our handle, just another 3/8 bolt, nut on both sides. And those would be secured that way. So now, when we lift this up, it's going to lift the chicken tractor up. When we put this back, it'll allow it to be back on the ground. Now, some critical things is this needs to be mounted far enough back so that you have clearance here. You could always round this corner off. The other reason this works is because these are 5.5-inch boards. If you're doing this on a chicken tractor with 2x4s, you can still do it. You're going to probably have to put a piece of scab wood up top so you can increase your thickness of your board to allow for this. You could use different size wheels. But depending on your set, it's going to depend on how much clearance you're going to get when you lift this up. We're going to get these metal pieces painted up, and then we're going to assemble it on the actual chicken tractor. Stagger my screws so they didn't line up on both sides. So I am extremely happy with that wheel system. Works perfect. One of our chickens just laid an egg. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my tarp on here. This is actually a tarp from my chicken tractor, my other chicken tractor, because I ordered a new tarp this year and for some reason it's a different size. Dimensions are not the same. It's still a 10 by 14, but this one actually measures like 9.5 by 13.2, which fits very well. I'm just going to screw that on through the eyelets. I'm just going to use a exterior screw and a washer to hold that on. Back when I'm going to come to the front because I want to get these tight. So the last process of this build is my electrification process. I'm going to use 6-inch eye bolts. I'm going to put them about 3.5 inches above the ground through my wooden legs here. I'm going to insulate that with some poly tubing to keep it from shorting against the wood. I'm also going to use some nylon washers. On the inside edge, I'm going to use these little brackets that I made. I just made those out of some perforated metal that I had laying around. So that's going to allow me a place to connect my wire on the other side. So we're going to get these holes drilled. I made myself a little template. I drilled this on the drill press so I'd have a nice straight hole so I can make sure I go through my upright or through my leg at the right angle. Just going to line that up. So I'm going to repeat that for the other 4 corners. So for my electric wire, on hand I had 2 different types of wire. I got this poly twine, which I could use, and that's what I used on my other chicken tractor when I did that, and it worked fine. I also have this steel wire. This is 14 gauge. I would have preferred it to be a little bit thinner, but I'm actually going to try to use the steel wire because I think it will give a more effective shock and a more immediate shock. So we're going to put this on 3 sides. The front side I want to make removable just in case when we're processing chickens I want to get in and out of here multiple times. I don't need the electric wire on there, although this is designed so I do not have to remove that wire to open the door, which is what I'll do most of the time. But we're going to get this put on and give it a test. I'm going to start this with just a little loop. I'll loop this once around my screwdriver. Now my screwdriver, I can just twist this and that'll tension my wire. Don't want it too tight. That looks good. So here's our finished fencing. When we got to the front, as I said, I used the poly wire. I made some hooks Actually out of the 14 gauge other fencing wire. So if I do want to disconnect it, I can. But we have it so our door opens fine with the wire connected. And it's easy to step in and out. This chicken tractor design came out better than the last one. The last one I retrofitted the electric fence to. This one I designed it as that being part of my idea. So a few of the modifications using that 5/4 by 6 cedar decking for the lower rail gave me that room that I could put those eye bolts through and get that fencing at just the right height. The wheel system I am very, very happy with. It works very, very well. No more lifting the tractor up to put those wheels on and then having them fall off when you're rolling it across the yard. The wheels stay on there. I can just flip them up and down at any time, and it was very inexpensive and very easy to do. I'm going to actually retrofit my other tractor with this style wheel. I'm going to have to do a couple modifications maybe because it's 2x4 rails on the bottom, but I think I can do it with no problem. Let's roll it into the grass and give it a test. So this is the fence charger I typically use, and I'll just hang it on the chicken wire. But we're going to hook it up. I haven't charged this all winter. I charged it last time we used it. But we'll see if it's got some charge in it and see how it works. So now that we have this turned on, I'm going to come around the front as far away as I can from where the charger's set up. Okay, now for the test. So, thank you for watching our Suscovich Chicken Tractor build and all the modifications we've made. I'm very happy with the wheel upgrade and the way the electrification came out on this chicken tractor. If you have a question on the build, please leave a comment below. I'd certainly love to hear from you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, we certainly would appreciate you subscribing. But as always, here on Sunny Side Up Farm, until next time, we hope all your days are sunny side up.